Greetings, back with another video. And this video, I'm just talking about like the spiritualists I've been seeing on like on the internet, you know, like I'm not talking about like priests or stuff like that. I'm talking about like people who's like, they just sound good, but they just talk too much. You know, some people just talk too much, man. You know, you can't, when you are actually finding yourself, I wouldn't take everybody's word, because some people just sound good because they want views and ratings. And a while back, me and my partner was watching Nature Boy, and how this guy was just, you know, he sound good, but he wasn't living the life that he was talking about. He turned into like some big like control narcissist type of person that, you know, just somebody that was controlled by money. And, you know, I mean, you know, a lot of people listen to Rashad Jamal. He's another spiritualist that's he's in prison. So is Nature Boy's in prison. Rashad Jamal's in prison, and I never understood why people respected him, and why people just, you know, quoted what he was saying and reposted his videos. Like, when I heard somebody talk about Rashad Jamal, I just like, I side-eyed him. For real. That guy's a straight up pedophile. Like, why? I don't care how good your information is. I don't care how good your information is. What the courtroom, what the courts gave you is they registered you as a pedo. I'm sorry, I can't respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's weird to me. That's weird. Like, I can't look up to somebody like that, you know. And I tried to tell people that for years, you know, when he was like hype, Rashad Jamal. And there's another one, Brother Polite. Brother Polite is in prison for rape. He raped a 14-year-old girl. And this is, you know, a lot of people don't talk too much about that. He was a spiritualist too. He was an online spiritualist. You know, like Dr. Malachi York is locked up in prison too, for they said for underage girls too. And a lot of these Hotep brothers really look up to Dr. Malachi York. And one of Brother Polite's mentors was Dr. Malachi York, because they got interviews where Brother Polite is actually interviewing Dr. Malachi York's victims, the victims that he was, I guess it was like a little interview in New York or something like that. And Dr. Malachi York was, I guess he was locked up. He was in trial, or he was going to prison or something like that, or he was in prison. I don't really remember. But a lot of people still stand behind Dr. Malachi York. And I really can't, I don't know, I don't listen, I don't follow his teachings, but I can't really respect him either, because he's who knows, like, you know, they say a lot of stuff, but, you know, you wasn't there. A lot of people that, you know, that practice these type of practices wind up in some weird some weird altercation or something with the government. So yeah, I mean, don't don't like believe what other people are saying in these spiritual communities, because of the fact that you got to follow your own path. You got to follow your own path. You know, like they got some gurus. I guess there's a guru. I think his name is Sad Guru, or one of the gurus is on Facebook. There was a lady that I used to follow on YouTube, like back in like 2011. That's when I really, like, my spirituality really started taking off around like 2000, around 2007. That's really when I started getting a real spiritual awakening. So right around 2012 or 13 is when, you know, I was listening to, really start diving deeper into it. And there's this lady, and you know, I forgot her name, but she used to talk about like meditation and stuff like that. First, she was talking about meditation, and, you know, I was cool with it. You know, I was following her, listening to her and stuff like that, because that's when I started like diving deep into like meditation. Then all of a sudden, she went to India, or one of those like countries where, you know, the gurus be, where they dress in orange and they dress like you know, Krishna, and, you know, those Buddhist gods and Hindu gods and stuff like that. So she went over there to some like organization or something like that, and her conversations before, she was talking about aliens and stuff like that, and like aliens and like meditation. That's why I was interested. But then when she went to India and she started joining these religious groups, these Indian religious groups, she had her YouTube still, and a lot of people was asking her, like, you know, about, you know, the guru life. A lot of people was asking her about the guru life, and she was like, you gotta talk to my guru, you know, you gotta listen. I mean, I gave all my power over to my guru. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck you, being a free spirit person, give your free will to another person? A man, a human. That is crazy. When I seen that, I was like, okay. I stopped following her after that. I'm like, okay, she gave her free will over to another man. You know, another man is, I mean, if it was in a relationship, you know, like, you know, if they was in a relationship, that's probably different. But this was a religious, like, cult. You know, it was a cult. And she snapped out of it, like, years later, I guess. And I seen her on Facebook, and she was like making a memoir about it, like how this guy was he was abusive, and he was a sexual, he was a weirdo, but he was a big time guru, and a lot of those people was like brainwashed and stuff like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you join these cults, like Nature Boy and stuff like that, when you join these cults, a lot of these people is just brainwashed, you know, because you got to be a free spirited person is willing to balance out both sides of the person. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how good the person sound. I don't care how beautiful the lady is. I don't care about none of that. The only thing I care about is balance. If something wrong's wrong, it's like, you know, your government. If your government treating you like shit or lying to you, you gotta balance that out. You know what I'm saying? You said one thing and you saying something else. So like these some of these spiritualists on the internet is goofy. You know, and I'm not hating on that. I'm just like bringing you awareness if you think about joining like these type of spiritual groups. Because when I first dove into spirituality, I didn't have nobody. It was just me, you know. And I was at the time, I was going through a depression, and I was trying to find myself. That's why I dove into it, because I was trying to find myself. And so I started diving into like meditation and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, but you know, my family's always been like into like tarot cards and stuff like that. You know, my mom was she was into tarot ever since we was kids. You know, we always had stuff like that, burning incense, and you know, just tarot cards, you know, horoscopes, you know, astrology. That was always in our household when we was young. So we didn't see nothing wrong with it. I can't speak for everybody else, but my family, my mom was obsessed with like tarot and horoscopes and stuff like that. You know, she was into astrology, you know, spirituality. That was my mom. So I'm not hating on that. You know, it's good, you know. A lot of people use astrology for certain things, you know. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a part of this journey, like this spiritual journey, my best advice for you is to trust your gut. Because a lot of people who join these spiritual groups, some of them don't have their best interest for you. Like if you're an energy worker, some of those energy workers are low-key be stealing energy. And you know, you see people saying love and light and, you know, stuff like that. You can't really, I'm just being honest. Like, some of these people out here be harnessing energy, and they be stealing your energy, and they be trying to destiny swap with you. You know, the spiritual game is real. The spiritual game is real. And the worst thing about spirituality is the person who's blind to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a person who's blind to what's going on. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta practice it, but I'm saying if you blind to it, like if you don't believe that a person can throw black magic at you, or hex you and your family and people around you, if you don't believe that, I'm sorry. I mean, that's on you. But there are some dark individuals out here when it comes to spirituality, and I'm not hating on it. Some people don't want your best interests when it comes to leveling up, because there's a lot of envy when it comes to awakening and spiritual leveling up and raising your frequency and something like that. Because some people, they can't raise their frequency. Some people can't raise it because they don't believe in themselves, and they live a low frequency lifestyle. They so used to having a low frequency lifestyle. So when a higher frequency energy come around, it's full of love and peace and forgiveness and giving, and you know, all kinds of stuff. You know, that low frequency envy that shit, and they want to take your energy. Some people's like that. I mean, it's not, you can't say it's their fault. It's maybe how they was raised. You know, everybody got a different story. But I'm just saying, like, you just got to be careful out here with this when it comes to, you know, you joining some of these spiritual groups and stuff like that, because some of these spiritualists out here ain't here for your best interests. And I'm just being honest. Like, you can get to know somebody, you could be so you could be one of those type of people who's into this stuff, and you just want to be around people that practice this lifestyle. And sometimes that it's better just to be alone. It's better just to be alone. That's my opinion. If you're gonna find your tribe, let it come authentic. Don't force it, because chances are you might surround yourself around people that don't have your best interests, and they want to see you, they want to take your energy. I'm not hating, I'm not being mean, I'm mean-spirited, I'm not giving fear. I'm telling you the truth, because some people out here don't care. They will do whatever they can. They will sit there and pray against your finances, pray against your spouse, pray against your kids. Some people do not care, and they see your happiness, they see your success, and they envy you because they can't manifest. They suck at manifesting, so they want to harness your energy, or they want to try to do whatever to get you off your destiny. They want to try to knock you off your destiny, and they want to try to hex you. They want to try to hex your lover. They want to try to hex your finances. They want to see you lose everything. Some people out here is not for your best interest, and they be low-key secret enemies, and they come out here pretending like they are all peace and healing, and I'm all good, you know, we're family, I'm a good, nice individual, you're crazy, I can't believe you're talking like that. But deep down inside, you're telling the truth. You're telling the truth. And that's one thing about these spiritualists out here that claim to be healers and stuff like that, but really they taking energy from everybody. They don't want to get exposed, you know, because I had a friend, he live in Orange County right now. He was friends with this girl that she got a YouTube channel, you know, I'm not gonna say her name, but she promote energy work. But he hung out with her, and he was telling me that this woman is crazy and she's so evil, but she's promoting herself like, I'm love, I'm all about raising your frequency and your energy, and I'm gonna give you a Reiki healing, and I'm gonna line your chakras and stuff like that. He was telling me the real truth. And I believe him. He was telling me this girl is a psychopath. See, a psychopath. I don't understand why she got a YouTube. You know, at first, you know, he was cool with her. He thought she was like, you know, she's a loving person. She's all about peace and, you know, healing and meditation or something like that. But deep down inside, she was fucking crazy, man. She was evil. She was an evil person. And I'm not saying that people who practice energy work and Reiki and, you know, aligning the chakras and meditation and like that is evil. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you don't know who you really get until you face them face to face. You know, somebody could be promoting themselves on the internet as they cool, they're nice, they're peaceful, but deep down inside, this person is wicked. The eyes recognize the eyes. When you looking through somebody's eyes face to face, you could tell. Trust your instinct. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you around somebody and you just feel that something's off with this person, don't deny it, because these people out here, you got to be careful with these spiritualists. Some of these spiritualists is not here to heal. Some of these spiritualists out here be low-key, be secretly throwing magic behind your back when your back is turned, or when you're not around. They want to do something. They want to do some type of ritual or something like that, or they want to throw some powder or something to get you to walk over it, or try to put your name on a candle or a doll or something like that. You just never know. I'm just saying this because, I mean, right now we're in a golden age, and a lot of people are more chasing spirituality and meditation and, you know, just